Ooh, might make your head blow off.
Hey yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male God, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to an all-new episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
Say it with me now. Alpha Male God, 51 Spade, a.k.a. the ninja you love to hate. I'm in the building.
You know what we do? We do 2 riveting topics in 1 hour.
You gotta say back for the new season now. We back for the new season. We in here now. We been gone and she had we just picking right up where we left. See how? She don't even miss y'all. How y'all doing?
Welcome to the new season of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter, and there's 2 topics in 1 hour. So the first topic is gonna be this. If you are financially unstable, should you refrain from dating? And the second topic is setting the tone for how people treat you. 2 very good topics tonight. Let's start with being financially unstable. Okay. This is going to hit everybody because I think everybody listening, including your podcasters and the person behind the camera, I think everybody collectively makes a different amount of money per year. So this is not to be offensive to anybody.
Just call it levels.
But there's levels. There are levels. And I do feel some type of way if I'm approached, and I think a long time ago we did a show about this, and there was a situation where someone had asked me out on a date. And I said, I don't know if I said yes or no. I think we were still in the beginning of the conversation, but somewhere he mentioned, you'll have to pick me up. And that kind of changed things. Whether I was thinking about going on the date or not, it turned me off because I want to be picked up. I don't mind meeting you there, but I'm certainly not going to come pick you up for our first date. It's kind of like showing up late and sweaty and with one shoe on to your first interview. It's wrong. It is absolutely wrong. Do things work out sometimes? Like in Will Smith's situation in The Pursuit of Happiness? Yes. But not all the time. I would say 99.9% of the time, if you show up to an interview with one shoe on, you're not going to get the job. 99.9%. If you get it, there was something extraordinary about you. And in the dating world, I don't think that that extraordinary thing is going to shine through when you're trying to make a first impression. So should you refrain? Absolutely. And you know what? I think that I would have had a problem saying that, or I would have felt bad saying it because I'm telling someone who only makes $18,000 a year that they shouldn't be dating. And I'm like, who am I? But this is the thing. If you refrained from dating and you really focused on you, couldn't you double that $18,000 in a year? Couldn't you gain muscle or lose fat? Couldn't you earn a degree? If you were focused on making yourself eligible, an eligible bachelor or an eligible bachelorette, then you would have a list of goals that you need to reach to make yourself look good to somebody. And you need to be focused on that list, not focused on getting the girl before you get the car. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't meet someone where you work and go out for ice cream. That's a $5 date. What I'm saying is if you want more and you want that girl or guy to look at you like a prize, then be a prize. Fuck the potential. Be the prize. That's what I say.
So what's your answer?
My answer is certainly, I don't think you should, and I'm glad you asked. I don't think you should be actively in DMs. I don't think you should be out pursuing. I don't think you should be getting all spruced up and spiffy on a Saturday to go out to find somebody. No, I think you should be doing everything you do to better yourself. And if, in fact, you meet someone who wants to meet for ice cream, cool. I'm not saying lock yourself in the house and be celibate. I'm saying don't pursue someone with aggression when your bank account ain't right. Don't sue someone with aggression when you're still catching the bus. Just take the aggression out of it and just let things happen while you're working on yourself is the best thing to do if you're not in a financial position to make a great first impression.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm gonna approach this total different ways. When I was listening to this topic at first, I was thinking to myself, like most topics when we get, I was like, this is totally different a setup, and this is totally a different situation as far as like standards or no, let me say bias. It's definitely biased, and it's definitely has double standard tone when it comes to it. Especially when I was listening to you talk about that. So, hey, this person asked me on a date or whatever, this and that, you shouldn't, this and that. And I noticed that when I hear you talk, women talk, and of course, like the internet, they always approach it from the standpoint and of a man saying, hey, you shouldn't date. If you don't have $30,000 in your account, you shouldn't be dating. You don't have money to take care of this person, you shouldn't be dating this and that. I get that point. And to me, it just boils down to standards. But taking back and really viewing this topic for what it is, I'm like, would you keep that same energy for these bitches? And I don't think so. Because that same shit should apply to women. Women be in clubs broke. Women be dating broke. Women be out here dating, don't have a job, no nothing. Would you have that same energy, Miss Lassiter, for that? It's rhetorical. I don't even want no explanation behind it because I already know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you're wrong based on that. But the reason I say I approach it from different standpoints is a lot of times I think the thing that people forget is this. One time I was watching an interview of I can't even think his name. I think TK Franklin or something like that. Whatever.
I know who you're talking about, but
Yeah.
all I can remember is the TK too.
Yeah. But basically he made a statement where he was like, well, if you don't have $25,000 in your bank account, you shouldn't be dating. And this is a man that's actually saying that. He was like, you should be in the upper echelon of when you're doing that. But I want everybody to think for a second of the upper echelon of people who have money. To me, it's like that potential that you're talking about can be there, and people have the opportunity to change. But you also have to think about the people who are upper echelon when they date. Like, they're ruthless, and they fuck people's lives up. So to me, it's almost like saying, like, hey, you got over $25,000 in your account, you got $50,000, $100,000, whatever this and that. You, by all means, you have the right to go fuck up a woman's life. You have all means, you have the means to go fuck their life up. So just go ahead and do it. And I just have a problem with that. Like, to me, we have too much focus and energy on money and where someone's status is. That does not make them a good person. That does not make them a great person. And on top of that, there's a lot of times that if it's not fucking up this person's life, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like a man should just be a bum and no shit like that. But if that's the agreement that you have with a woman, and a woman looks at your potential and you just don't have it like that and you haven't made it, who the fuck am I or anybody else to tell that person they shouldn't be dating? Like, if you want to date. If you don't feel you're ready or you don't feel you in the space to date, then that is a personal choice on you. But I don't think anybody has the right to tell somebody, well, if you're not financial, what is financial? Like, this is some of the complaints that women have when you're talking about men. When women start asking men when they want to get married, the very first thing that come up is, I ain't financially ready. Well, if you're not financially ready to marry, buy a house, and any of that shit, you shouldn't be dating. And you shouldn't be dating that nigga. That's the way I'm hearing you speak to me.
I get what you're saying. For me, I think it's because, especially nowadays, dating just doesn't remain dating. Like, when you meet a guy, he doesn't keep his apartment and you keep yours. 90 days in, you're trying to figure out how we can merge this rent. Okay? And then when you live together, obviously there's more sex. There could be an accident where you could get pregnant. I mean, there are just so many things that could happen while you're wrapped up in someone's potential. If everything was the way it should be with men and women, where you could date for a number of years, live separate, take care of each one of your household, he take care of his house and car, and you take care of your house and car, till y'all both graduate and become what you're going to become and then merge. But that's not the way things happen. In our culture, things are microwave. Things are just happen so fast. And I think that's where that whole analogy of not dating until you're ready comes into play, because nowadays people are not only dating for sexual support and emotional support, they're dating for financial support. And two poor people in a relationship getting their own apartment, and then it just doesn't feel okay. It might turn out okay, but the people on the outside looking in would say, why are y'all pursuing this relationship with that much aggression and not your personal goals with that same aggression? That is really what bothers me about young kids in relationships. It's that it bothered me looking back at the age I am now, and looking back at my young self. Being in that relationship took over everything. It took over my joy to be at school. It took over my personal goals. And I think that's a problem. And if I had a daughter, I would not want her to follow in my footsteps and fall in love at 18, 19, 20 years old, because it knocks you off it knocks you off base. It takes your personal goals away. And so I think that's where it is. It's that people that find love in broken financial situations are honestly so wrapped up in the love that I think all they have is potential. They never reach their full potential because they're so wrapped up in each other. I'm thankful that because of the way that I love, I'm thankful that I'm in a relationship with someone who is so fucking focused. My level of love and admiration and wanting to be up under him all the time does not work, because he has personal goals. He's not so wrapped up in the relationship that he has forgotten what his bank account looks like, that he has forgotten what his goals are and where he wants to be individually so that he can be better for me. That was a conversation that I needed to have more than once. Hey, this couch shit, we can't do that every day. We got so many hours on the couch, and the rest of the day I'm in the office. And that's just it. And I accepted that greatly, thank God. But that's because I'm at my age now that I understand that if we're financially broken, that the emotional support that I'm looking for and the sexual support that I'm looking for is going to fall by the wayside. Because you can't fuck in a house with no lights on, or I don't want to. But I don't think that is the angle of the younger generation. I don't think that is the angle of the broke guy or the broke hoe. And you were right. That hit a nerve when you said that. That there's thousands of bitches in the club, dead ass broke, doing nothing but looking for a man. And I give them the same energy. It's just not right. Focus on you so that you are a prize.
I mean, I totally get where you coming from. And let me be clear, like I said, like when we were first talking about the topic, I felt like it was a double standard, because like majority of the time when I hear people talk about that, they come from the standpoint of the man. And I understand why, because men are looked at is for provision, but at the same point in time, I'm like, even hearing you speak right now, I even have a little gripe with that too, because is it really like men looking for someone to move in? I don't really think so. I think it's just women. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never met no man that was like, and that's just me. I ain't never met no man. Now, don't get me wrong, because there's going to be a lot of people that want to combat me. Nah, I had a nigga move in. You had a broke nigga that moved in. I'm talking about a man. I ain't never met a man willing to give up his place. Mm-hmm. Name one. I don't know no man that's on his shit like, oh, bitch, move in. No, bitches sneak in. They start leaving shit. They start you fuck them and you be like, damn, bitch, don't you got somewhere to go? Don't you got to get to work? Don't you got to? I don't know, but there's women that do that. It's women who get in marriages and then complain that I didn't get a chance to finish school. I didn't get a chance to live out my dream. That's your fault that you willing to do that. I ain't never met no man was like, You know what, man? This bitch done sucked the life of me. I never got a chance to go to medical school, and I never got a chance. That shit don't come from no man.
doesn't.
Even when you was talking about that shit, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, all my dudes, they like being by themselves. I can name a bunch of my niggas right now that still ain't got a bitch living with them. I know about 4 of them right now. You know why? And they own they shit. You know what I'm saying? It's only females. And it's really the reason, and the reasoning behind that to me is like with what you just said. They fucking codependent. Most females are codependent. They don't trust you living by yourself. They don't trust, oh, you know what I'm saying? Did you go out last night? They feel they have to be there to watch you like a hawk. To see, and that's how motherfuckers move in together. It's not the fucking man talking about, yeah, I think we should live together. Are you fucking serious? I ain't never met no nigga like that. Sometimes I damn dog, how this bitch, man, I don't know, dog. She just moved in like a toothbrush was here, then she had a drawer. Next thing I know, the bitch just didn't leave. Then she let go her apartment. Then next thing you know, y'all together. That's how that shit happened. But it's, and I'm not saying it's not that way for women. You know what I'm saying? That is not what I'm saying. There are niggas who are leeches. There are men that need to level up and get their shit together. And it's the person that actually let that happen. I'm not a codependent person. I can function perfectly fine by myself. I'm not in the need of a relationship. I'm not in need of that. That is a bonus point. Don't fucking need one. I understand that relationship, in most relationships, if you're not focused on your finances, having your life in order, how you work and how you do things, that relationship going to implode anyway. So if you look at the divorce rate, most of it come from y'all not seeing eye to eye, and majority of it is finances.
Money.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I'm also listening to you speak about that shit, I'm like, not really sure if I agree with that type of shit, because I'm just like, most men, and like I said, when I say men, I'm using the term man. I don't want people on the internet to be like, well, I had a nigga moved in with me and he didn't have nowhere to go. Of course, there's always gonna be that. But do we use that again? Do we use that same energy for bitches that don't have nowhere to go and then they move in with their man? No, they just move in and it's like, oh well. But then when a man do that, it's like, whoa, get your ass up. Of course, if you got a nigga playing PlayStation all day, of course, if you have a nigga on the couch, of course, if you have a nigga trying to flip your check and all this type of shit, that bum ass nigga need to get his shit together. I'm not saying that them motherfuckers don't exist. They do exist. But look why it happens, and vice versa. That's all I'm saying.
I get it. I think my aggravation would come from, I guess, just the pride in being where you are. And then again, I will say this. I'm not saying that people come out and say, hey, I'm proud of myself right now. I'm saying the way you are outwardly posting or outwardly concerned about being in a relationship, that is what is the turn off. It's because that excitement, that a level of aggression, that determination to get some ass or be in a relationship, where is that same energy to your own personal goals? That's, I think, is what's aggravating to me if I see a young individual that is just their whole life is encompassed by being with someone else and not really focused on their own personal goals. That's annoying. It's annoying because you want to say, oh my God, I'm planning, she's talking about going on this trip, and all you want to say is, what about this? Or what about that? Because as a friend or as someone who's familiar with this person, you know where they lack. And so you're trying to figure out why all their energy is focused on this relationship when they don't have their stuff together. They just don't have it together.
So let me be clear. So you're saying like a man pursuing...
I think it's the same. A woman, a man who is pursuing a woman who does not have all his chips together, whether that's money, car, house, education. I'm just saying it looks weird.
But why does it look weird? I guess
it's gonna be weird. Let's imagine him and I at dinner. What do you do for work? I'm out of work right now. Okay. That's gonna be weird from there on. Unless you say I'm out of work right now, but I am an entrepreneur. I've been doing this on the side. You just gotta have something more to say to me than how good I smell and, where we going on our next date. Like, the whole context of our date is to find out what's so good about you besides what got me to give you my number. Okay, you smell good. You approach me fine. Okay, cool. I'm looking at your shoes. Shoes clean. Breath don't stink. Here you go. That's only a little bit of information I know. My first date with you is to find out, okay, what else qualifies you to date me? I can't come out and say how much is in your bank account. I can't say that. So I'm going to ask you where you work, how long you've been doing that, what are your future goals. I'm trying to get some idea of what his bank account could be based on his conversation. And the first thing he can't say to me is he don't have a job and a car. I hate to come off judgmental, but that's the last time I'm going to probably see you unless you said something extraordinary to take my mind off the fact that you don't work. That's what I'm saying. I mean, something extraordinary, because once you say I don't have a house, I don't have a car, then where else are we supposed to go? You can't turn around and tell me how pretty my eyes are now.
That's a lie, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, you could say that, but how far is it going to get you with me? I'm not impressed.
I'm saying it'll get you far. I'm just saying you're lying.
I'm not lying.
Yes, you are. I get tired of having to prove this. You know what? Let's just cut the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You see that load of bullshit that you were just saying right there?
How is it bullshit?
I'm finna show you, because you keep asking, so I'm finna show you right now. Watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, I do this. I actually, y'all probably don't know this about me, but I was saying to myself, like, I needed to, I always, when I was younger, wanted to be a lawyer, and this is the reason why. Because I know how to debunk every scenario that people throw. And since we're going into the new year, I'm just finna go ahead and debunk this whole line of bullshit right here. As I was listening to you speak and talk, you know what I'm saying? Now, I get it. You a little seasoned now. And you know what's so crazy? When females get in a relationship, they just be like, oh, I had this whole figured out. Horse shit. They speaking from a person that's in a relationship now and feels safe. Then they start saying to other people and preaching how it should be. Now, we're going to go back to how you were. Where can we go? To your place. How does that happen? Pretty eyes, this and that. We've done this show for almost 4 years. And correct me if I'm wrong. You are the same person that has said to me you was in an abusive relationship. You are the same person that didn't know where this person stayed at. Didn't know his real name. Didn't know any of this shit. And where did you go? To your house. What, did he have money? Yeah, he had money. But then again, guess who was giving money to who? You was giving money to him. How does this work? It works because the world is full of pimps and hoes. And this is just how the story go. I don't know why I gotta spell this shit out to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
What is wrong with you?
Because pimps run this motherfucking world. You know what I'm saying? How else can a motherfucker that have money? You see a motherfucker, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but we're just gonna go by your story. I see this person down in Miami. I'm looking at his car. I see, damn, he must have car. He has nice credit, this, and that. But are you the same person that was like you giving money to him? So correct me if I'm wrong. It's supposed to go the other way around. But you're sitting there,
way later.
Hold on. You're talking about he has to have more than to say pretty eyes. Bull fucking shit. The one thing about men, especially seasoned men, especially pimp type men, especially motherfuckers that know, all we need is a listening ear to get in and make a bitch orgasm. All you need sometimes is just a little bit of this and that, and you can rearrange the whole outcome of what you needed to do. So for you to sit here and tell people that where we're going to go, no. You recognize that shit from people who don't know how to present a presentation. But a smart person or a pimp that know how to present shit can show you that presentation. And then people who are not that smart, that don't know how to unrock the Rubik's Cube, then end up in a situation where they start giving money. They start lending their car. They start giving money to the person they say had money. That trying to sell me on some shit. Like, oh, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He had a nice car, and I was like, damn, I got to get down with him. Next thing you know, you giving him money. Sounds like a pimp to me. And I was raised that way. You know what I'm saying? And this shit happens day in and day out. I'm not saying that is right, but don't give me this shit about where we're going to go. If he don't want you to know where he stay, you ain't gonna know where he want to stay. And he gonna have you move in the exact same way where he wants you to move. There's bitches that be paying for shit, and after they come out the shit, say the same shit. I done bought this motherfucker videos. I done got this motherfucker cars. I let them run up my credit card and shit.
After being in the relationship, we're talking about dating.
I get that, and this is where it starts. Dating is where it starts. And once you get past that type of shit, bitches lose their shirt. It's almost like almost a motherfucker with a gambling problem. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, he treat me like shit, but I got so much time into this, I just can't go. And they giving up money, they social security, they co-signing shit, the whole nine. This is pimp shit at its finest. So don't give me this shit like, well, he can't just tell me, but yes, he do. He give you dick and tell you how pretty you are.
That's not, they don't. Not when you're dating. That is so wrong. That's where you got it confused.
No.
No one could sit down with me on a first date and tell me they don't have their shit together and expect me to be involved.
That's where you confused about. We're not talking about, again, if you was listening, you know what I'm saying? See, this is the thing about women too. Say they try to paint scenarios and then act like I'm not listening to what they saying. I understand about the bum ass niggas that you talking about, but we're gonna go back to the topic of, hey, if you're not financially stable, that you shouldn't be dating. I'm showing you how motherfuckers can be financially stable and still treat you like shit. So you got to stay on topic with this type of shit. Don't be listening to Miss Lassiter, but she gonna lead you down this dark road of dumbness. You know what I'm saying? And that happens day in and day out. So we're not gonna go there on this road of, oh no, we can't do on the first date. Hey, on the first date, some presentations are very shitty, but some presentations are so good, pretty that they can get past that shit.
That's true.
And dum-dums be hook, line, and sinker when it comes to that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? This shit is like so crazy. This shit is so crazy to me. Even it aggravates me when I hear shit like this, because it's like that shit don't happen on men. Bitches can't present a bullshit copy to me and think I can't see through it on some pimp shit. A nigga know when he getting used for money. A nigga know when the bitch is broke. He know what he can get took for and what he is willing to give. But for some strange reason with women, it's like, oh yeah, the presentation look good, then they come out that shit, sob stories, tissues, all kind of shit, talking about they don't know how they got took and all this type of shit. Stop, damn, that sounded like a gambling addict. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And everybody know the whole thing with gambling. The house always win, and so do pimps.
That could be. You know, I don't.
That could be.
And I don't beat up on women or myself.
I'm not beating up on them either.
Because that is someone who's being manipulated. That's a whole nother topic.
That's the world. It's not. It's the world. And it's also a part of it with dating. So I'm commending you for the part of your saying that people getting their shit together. I'm commending you on that. I'm just not agreeing with the idea of someone being financially in a place, because that doesn't make their character. And and sometimes I think people are getting that shit confused to say who should be dating, who can't. That's why I was saying, like, you taking the chance. Who knows how that could have turned out for you. You sitting across from somebody, hey, I'm not really working right now, this and that. And you dismiss that person because they say, I don't have a job, I'm not really working right now. But you didn't dig a little deeper. You understand what I'm saying? But then for the person who has a presentation where they have a nice car, they have nice things, this and that, females don't dig for that. And I don't want to just say females. I'll even say with guys. Just people in general. Let me just say people. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper. Mm-hmm. But he's financially in a situation where he looks like he has it good. But you was giving money to him. That's my point. He's financially set, but that don't mean that you came out of that shit unscathed. Mm-hmm. You still got took. You still had sucker on your forehead, and he still got you. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So what's the fucking difference? A nigga that's across from you sitting broke, you got, and I know the difference. It's rhetorical, but what I'm saying is the person that you see that you're saying, well, I don't see no potential in him, might have had potential and might have not slapped you,
but
might have not did
serious, that. Listen, this is my thing, and I get that, and I am someone who's going to ask second and third level questions. I'm not going to just leave the dinner. Now, I am a sympathetic or empathetic person. However, I tend to think of what I'm giving off. when someone who it doesn't have their shit together approaches me. I get it. I can smell good, look good, speak well, especially when I'm working in a club environment and I could be doing like a celebrity interview. A lot of basic people see me do stuff like that. And so you're going to have a lot of people approach you. My thing was, why would someone approach me that is not thinking that he needs to pick me up? I want everybody to really focus on that. If you think I'm so great, oh my God, you do this for work, oh my God, you're so pretty, oh my God, you smell so good. And the next thing out of your mouth is, can we go on a date, but can you come pick me up? You just fucked up your first 3 compliments. Because what do you really think of me? What do you really think of this great person if you're approaching her with a bag of shit?
Let me tell you.
I mean, I guess what I was saying was rhetorical. I wasn't really looking for an answer. I'm looking for you to really think about the presentation or this person that you have put up on a pedestal. It's kind of like me liking a guy so much, but my hair ain't fucking done. So I'm going to duck in the grocery store. I'm not ready for him to see me yet. I want him to see my best self. That's all I'm saying. My hair ain't done. My nails ain't done. It's not the time for me to bump into him at the grocery store. It's not it. And I feel the same way with men. It's not the time for you to approach a woman you really like when you don't have everything together. And you know what? It might not even have to do with how much money you have in the bank. Just have enough money to get a picnic basket and a blanket to take her somewhere basic. But don't show up destitute.
Now you're going to have niggas showing up with picnic baskets.
What I'm saying is, if you don't have the money, be creative instead. That's why I wanted to use the word extraordinary.
Well, is it really about
There's got to be
creativity?
something extraordinary there to make me want to keep talking to you after you told me,
Gotcha.
hey,
But
I
is it
ain't
really
got
about,
shit.
But is it really about creativity, or is it about the simple fact that he ain't got a car? See, this is the thing about this is the thing. Like, when I'm hearing you say shit like that, it's like, to me, what difference does it make? So the nigga don't have a car. So let's just say he don't have a car. You know what I'm saying? But shit, to have a picnic basket, you know what I'm saying? And the picnic, you still got to get there. So
Right, but
so
he can just say, I'll meet you at 2.
Gotcha.
Meet me. Don't tell me to come pick you up.
Gotcha. Totally under. And this is called deception. And see, this is the thing, and on a while, and the thing. Well, I'm just being real. And the thing about this, I've heard this a lot. You know, I hear a lot of people that talk about this type of shit, and they say it like women love liars and cheaters. You know what I'm saying? And like, this is the thing that I totally don't get. Like, when I hear shit like this, it's like, hey, don't do that. Just do the presentation. But see, when someone wanted to be upfront with you, see, that theory is debunked by a person being honest. Now we got Ms. Lassiter talking about some, hey, just meet you there. But those are lies. That
Not necessarily. You can tell me later.
That is
We
omission.
met because I don't have a vehicle right now or something.
Gotcha. Listen, let me tell you something about people omitting shit. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'd rather deal with the truth than deal with omission. Because a lot of people that say, no, that's not really a lie. It's like me fucking a chick. You know what I'm saying? Or like what women do sometimes. And I'm not, accusing, just trying to just beat down on women, because, I get a lot of that shit. Oh, you just always like attacking black women. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying shit like this. Like, I go meet a woman, this is that. Then they loosely throw in, they got a child. You know what I'm saying? That's omission. You know what I'm saying? But if they would have came out with it up front, who's to know whether I'm going to say yay or nay? But it's like the omission part, people get so used to omitting things that they do not realize that that is not the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's not a full presentation. When someone gives you the full presentation that they not working, they ain't broke this and that, cool. The presentation that your boy in Miami showed was not a real presentation either. He omitted some shit about his anger. He omitted some shit like, I'm going to slap the shit out your ass. He omitted a lot of those things. You understand what I'm saying? And then had you in a situation. That's what I'm talking about. Like, we're not dealing in a world of honesty. So this is why people start operating like this. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can deal with a motherfucker coming to me and saying, hey, I'm a stripper, but that ain't really what I... And then I make the choice on whether I want to deal with a stripper, know what she do, know that she has an OnlyFans, knowing any of that shit, then versus me finding out later. You understand what I'm saying? Because you just like, oh, well, I just didn't feel it was the appropriate time to tell you this and that you stripping. that you on OnlyFans? That just, you know what I'm saying? That's just if I was judgmental. But I'm saying we just in this world where the omission parts, you're condoning the idea that someone says, hey, I ain't got a car, but debunk that with a picnic and just meet me there.
I'm not saying that exactly. What I'm saying is, if you think so much of me,
and that was the other part. Just so you have a full story to come back to. This is the thing, and I hate to say this, but I have to say this because I've been told this on this show, so I'm gonna do this for women. Okay, a lot of women always say to me like, "You're always female bashing this and that." So this is what I want to tell women. It's not that the guy thinks that of you. Because most guys don't think nothing of you. I've said this over and over on this show. He wants to fuck you. That's not knowing what you work. That's not knowing what you do. Some people look at you as a notch. I see a celebrity journalist and seeing what you do. This would be a nice notch underneath my belt. It's not that you're giving yourself a little bit too much credit. And I'm not saying that you don't deserve to give yourself that credit. I'm saying some women get that confused for the hunt of pussy and what someone is actually doing. If someone is really dating you or wants to date you, the presentation will be right because they're talking about dating you. If their presentation is half-assed, they're thinking about fucking you. So stop asking those questions about what is it about me that I'm putting out. You ain't putting out nothing but pussy. You just walking around with it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing you can do about that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas love pussy and niggas want to fuck. And it's intelligence. And it's a bad thing, and I hate that we are putting that. But this is something that goes on. Men want to fuck. It don't have nothing to do about what you putting out there or what does a person think about you. He thinking about knocking your motherfucking skull in. That's what he thinking about. Period. He's thinking about you.
That doesn't make it better.
Well, you want the truth or you want me to admit it? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Sometimes it's not even about the pocket change, though. I remember this one time I was buying Chinese food and I asked for chopsticks. Oh boy. And the guy behind me in line was like, "Damn, ho, you eat with chopsticks? I need that in my life." And I'm like, I don't know. This was a compliment to him. To him, he saw someone who was cultured, who eats with chopsticks. Oh my God. But he used, damn, no, you eat with chopsticks? I need that in my life. And to me, I'm like, damn, you never seen a woman eat with chopsticks? I don't want you in mine. Mm-hmm. You showed your level basically by giving me that compliment. I know you are not the motherfucker that's getting my number. If I'm at our age, if I'm the first woman you've seen eat with chopsticks, I don't know who the fuck you been around. Mm-hmm. I don't know who your mama them is and who your auntie them is. But somebody long time ago you should have been seen eating with chopsticks. You're not in my realm of people I need to be dating. Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. It's just, I know I put a lot on presentation, but what really else do we have to go off of? That was his moment. If he was so impressed that I was gonna be eating with chopsticks, he could have said 10,000 other things. But he was stuck at his level, and that's what I'm saying.
And that's okay. I don't want to take away from what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that's okay. There's the thing about that I want women to understand is a lot of men sometimes just have bucket lists, and and the bucket list don't have nothing really to do with. It doesn't have anything to do with really you. It just has everything to do with that person. Like there's some people who want to fuck midgets. They want to knock that off their bucket list. They have black dudes that want to knock off an Asian chick. It's just on their bucket list. It doesn't have anything to do.
So you're saying that whether you poor
yeah,
or rich,
it don't have nothing.
It don't got nothing to do with it.
Got nothing.
You still gonna try to conquer your
yeah,
person.
like you know what I'm saying. For you know what I'm saying. Chopsticks, like you know what I'm saying. Sometimes for me, I'm like, hey, chicks with glasses. Sometimes, hey, it is what it is. I don't know. It's just something about when I see chicks with glasses. It just is what it is. I still haven't knocked off a midget, but that don't mean it ain't on my bucket list.
Okay, so we're gonna roll into the next topic of tonight. And by the way, don't forget to tap in and comment on some of this stuff. Take us in a different direction. Pose some questions. We'll be sure to answer them for you. The second topic of the night is, do we set the tone on how people treat us? I've heard this topic several different ways and had several different opinions. I've had 2 different, and they both are opposing. I had something happen recently where I got into an argument with another young lady. First argument ever. First one. I haven't spoken to her since. That is someone who I would say has a very low tolerance. I would also say she's very petty. However, this is someone who is setting the tone on what she can tolerate and what she can't. So I couldn't be that mad. If she's someone who just doesn't like me for whatever reason, or doesn't like the way I'm treating her, just because it was the first argument, it was at her level. She was up to here, and she said, okay, even though this is our first argument, I don't want to deal with her anymore, which is fine. I kind of have to respect that. But I'm the opposite. To me, it's like, can't cut someone off over a first argument. If I did that, I wouldn't have never be married. I wouldn't have girlfriends. I wouldn't have boyfriends. Because every time they did one thing to me, I would never talk to them again. Which means I would be by myself today. So I was kind of like, I kind of like where she's going with that, because if I were like that, I wouldn't have been in an abusive relationship. I wouldn't have got taken for money. There are a lot of things in my life that wouldn't have happened had I been more like that. Like the first slap, oh, fuck no. No one ever is going to put their hands on me. I should have ended that relationship and never spoke to him again on that day. Had I had her attitude, that's what would have happened, and I wouldn't have been abused. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm a yes and a no person on setting the tone on how people treat you and what they are allowed to do with you, to you. It is your responsibility to let a person know, no, you can't do that to me, or yes, you can. And she did that very, very clearly, and I can respect her for that. But again, like I said, how do you find yourself in a healthy, long-lasting relationship if you have one fight and then it's done?
I totally get where you. Well, I guess I get where you're coming from. So you're saying that you in agreement of it, or you saying no?
I'm stuck in the middle because of my own downfall. On the surface, absolutely against it, because you're gonna argue with everybody. No one's gonna see things your way every time. You are in this life going to get into arguments with people. People are going to disagree with you, and people are going to hurt you. You just have to forgive and move on with that person or without them. But I'm a forgiving person. I don't hold people for life for something they did to me one time. I just don't. But I've also been in a situation. I've been in a lot of situations that I shouldn't have been in. And had I been less tolerable of those people, I would have been letting them know in the paint right there that day, you can't do that to me. And I didn't. So who am I to say she's wrong? If she feels like, let's say I lied to her, which I didn't, but let's say I did. I lied to you one time. Oh, I do not like liars. Our relationship is over. She's walking out of my life over one lie, never giving me a chance to improve and not do that again. I think and she's a mom. So it's kind of hard for me to understand. Her son's going to lie to her. Her daughter is going to lie to her. They're going to break shit. You can't walk out of their lives like that after that one thing. So I'm still stuck in the middle. Yes, the things you tolerate will dictate how people treat you, but I don't necessarily think that she handled it in the right way, because I think there's a way to deliver a message that, hey, you can't do that to me. And if we find ourselves here again, it might be a little bit worse than the first time around. I just feel like there should be a revolving door if that person is not physically hurting you. I think there should be a revolving door for improvement, because everybody deserves that. I don't think this person is perfect. There are things that I was disappointed that were done to me, but I didn't hold her so responsible that the door did not open again for her to come back and talk to me about it, or that we could talk and converse. I'm just not that type of person. But because I'm not that type of person, I found myself in pretty fucked up situations where I feel like I probably could have died. So if had I adopted that attitude, I would have a different story today. So that's why I'm kind of like, good for her. At the same time, fuck her, but good for her. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, fuck her.
Hey, as a human being, you're entitled to your own opinion. I will say this: as I was listening to you, I heard you, every word. But I will say that I have a big problem with that from people in general, because setting a tone is a lot. And it'll save you a lot of shit. And I think with people, when I hear people talking, especially when they say what you said, it's like, well, you got to give people a chance, or you have to give people, time or this and that. No, you don't. You don't gotta give people shit. I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you to get better. I don't owe you. I don't owe you to give you time to get better. I don't owe you any of those things. I'm a person that pretty much moves that way. When I cut somebody off, they just off. I don't have really time for that type of shit in my life, or that type of energy in my life. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, like, hey, fool me once, shame on me. You know what I'm saying? Like fool me twice, nah, we're not having none of that shit. You know, and the thing about it is, like, when I hear, and I hate this, but I can only speak from this perspective. The perspective of hearing you talk like that, I'm going to point out a couple of things. One, you said you was dating? Or,
no, I didn't call it dating.
Okay, just talking?
Yeah.
Or was y'all friends?
Yeah,
okay.
Just a friend.
Gotcha. Certain people have tolerance levels in different zone factors. So a friend zone sometimes really don't have no factor. But I noticed that a lot of times when women are dating, they start getting a little like less, they settle stick starts coming down. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I was hearing you talk, I was like, well, this is a female. But do you have that same energy with men? And I'm going to say no, when you're not built that way. Some women, that especially the ones that are like, I don't understand how this happened to me. It happened to you because of you. Because your settle stick, you don't stand firm on it. That's saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, is a very true statement. Mm-hmm. Keep giving people the benefit of the doubt. Do that. And you can have this fairy tale of one day this prince, I'm going to kiss this frog and he going to turn into a prince and this and that. And in the meantime, motherfuckers going to be taking you to the bank. They're going to be getting pussy out you. They're going to be getting child support out you. They're going to be doing all this shit because you going into it with this idea that you giving them a chance. I'm just not a person that believe in that shit. A person has one time to do some shit to me that I just do not like, and they ass is done. Can I give someone a second chance? Yes, but it also based on me of how remorseful the person is. And sometimes with me, that's a number one thing for me. I can cut somebody else, but I can also tell if someone is remorseful by the conversation that we have. So then it makes me stand on what I say, or make them stand on what they did. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a lot of problems sometimes with people in general. Like, you're gonna take that attitude because it's coming from a woman, but I know you, and you don't take that type of stance with men. And when it's a man, you become very like understanding on what they do and what they cut off and what'll happen, but not for a woman. But you know why? Because you don't even really have a bunch of women friends. You see what I'm saying? And that's why that tone is set like that. So if this person is like, this is what I do and this is what I stand on when it's dating or whatever this and that, like, I get what you're saying about, well, hey, you can't do that for your kids, but guess what? Kids should be loved unconditionally, but that is not always the case either, because there are a lot of times where I see parents that disown their children. There's a lot of millionaires that sometimes they build a whole company up and they're like, I ain't leaving shit to none of them kids. They didn't earn it and they ain't do any of that shit, and they take that shit with them, or they burn it up, or they will that shit over to somebody else. It's life. It's what you have to deal with. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when people set tones, I'm a firm believer in it, because I don't want to hear your ass crying later. And typically that's what happened. typically when you don't set tones and then shit happen to you, you are the person on the other end talking about, I don't know how this shit happened. And that's my issue with it. Not having accountability for what happens to you when you don't set the tone. You keep getting took. You keep giving people money. You keep doing some of this shit. You keep giving up pussy. You keep doing all this type of shit. That's your fault. Because you don't know how to set a tone.
I agree 100%. But I've kind of been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been the person who bad stuff was being done to me. And I was forgiving. And then I've been the person who's done something to someone that they didn't like, but I was looking for forgiveness. I don't think any of us. That. I'm sorry?
But you don't deserve it though. And that, I just want to be clear about, that's what I was saying. But you don't deserve it. Someone don't have to forgive you. Like, just because you, like, that's something else that I notice a lot of times, especially in relationships. I see people say, well, I did that. Like, my aunt said that about one of the reasons why her marriage failed. And she made that statement, that exact same statement that you made. I used to do a lot of things for his family and went to a lot of his functions and I didn't get the same in return. He ain't got to give you the same in return. If that is how you are, cool. You can do that. But just because you do something for somebody else does not mean they have to do it back to you.
For you. That's fine. And I get that. I think that's going to change the dynamic of things because, trust me, as someone who's always given 90% in the relationship, you get tired of giving that 90% when you're not getting half of that back. So that's the person, I don't blame the person that's giving the 90%. I don't blame myself. I look at the other person like, you're the dumbass. Because the 90% that I'm giving you, that shit is going to dwindle down to 1%. It's going to be your own fucking fault. Because I'm not going to be dumb forever. I'm forgiving, yes. And I do a lot, yes. But I'm not like that forever.
And most women are like that. And I totally get it. I think that the difference is this, though. A lot of times when people set the tone, they just don't like the accountability for, like, what happens to them. And that's going to be real, like, a major issue that I always have. Like, people don't owe you shit, but also the reason why people always ending up in a whole bunch of shit is because, like, they say, hey, go ahead and let that pass. I'm going to give this person something. And then in relationships, that's another thing where it's like, relationships are not always fair. That person that is doing that to you, they are willing to accept the idea of whatever happens. Whether it's divorce, whether it's letting you go or this and that. Some people understand that when they do it. I understand it. Like, I don't have to give nothing to nobody. And if a person is willing to go out of the door, this and that, like, I'm going to be real with you. For me, even in a relationship, I'm looking for unconditional love no matter what. That means through my fuck ups the whole nine. And if a person is saying, damn, I don't like how he is, this and that, I'm willing to be okay with that. And if that person leaves, they did me a favor, and I get a chance to see that. Yeah. So I'm cool with that. So I understand the dynamic and say, well, I'm not going to do that forever because I can't. People change. People grow apart. People in relationships, that happens 9 times out of 10. Jobs pull them apart. They sex life gets stale. Things like will start to change and make the person start on this hunt of happiness or what they think happiness is. But you ask some of those divorced women, oh, I just needed to get divorced. I was so miserable. These be the same ones that now they ain't got no man and still miserable. Yeah. They was miserable in the marriage and now they outside of the marriage trying to date and still miserable. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a matter on what you want to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong. And this conversation wasn't about tolerance. I turned it into tolerance. It's really about setting the tone of how you want to be treated. But I think that the way that it's best communicated is I always treat people just how I would like to be treated. And you kind of threw shit on that by saying, hey, I don't have to treat you the way you treat me. So
what I'm saying is you're not owed that. I'm not debunking.
I'm not saying that I am, but it would be nice. I mean, it would be. I don't know a lot of people that go into a relationship say, hey, I know you're giving me all these flowers. Just know I'm never going to give you any back. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know a lot of people that go into relationship with that attitude. They might not give you flowers, but they might give you honey. You understand what I'm saying? There's something to replace. You're not a flower guy, but I like to buy natural honey to go on your skin and wash your hair with. So what I'm saying is, it may not be what you favor, but that person has to match your effort. That is it. And a lot of times we could be talking about the effort of forgiveness. We could be talking about the effort of giving. We could be talking about a whole bunch of different aspects. But if the person is not setting the tone early, and usually they are setting the tone just by how they treat you, not by saying, I don't like liars, I don't like treaters, flowers make me sneeze. No one does that unless they're trying to be uber fucking annoying and they just don't know any better. Usually you go into a courtship by treating that person exactly the way you want to be treated. Keyword is want, because that's all you can really hope for, is like, hey, this is how I am. Treat you to dinner. I'm going to rub your feet. I'm going to be kind to you because I want you to treat me to dinner, rub my feet, and be kind to me back. That's just fucking common sense.
Yeah, but people don't use common sense, and a lot of people a lot of times use wishful thinking. And again, I have to go this route because I can only speak from the perspective of me. A lot of times when I'm with women, women don't do shit that I want. They do shit they think that I want. And then when you do shit for them, they don't know how to recognize that, damn, he is way out of his comfort zone and he wouldn't have did that, and he's did that for me. And I think that's a big issue a lot of times, because I see a lot of women that ignore that type of shit. Like when someone bends over backwards to come out of character to do some shit they typically don't do. And I don't think men a lot of times get the gracious attitude from women because they don't recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times when I spend time with my lady, she does not recognize that I'm sacrificing that time, because she has the idea of time not really like watching TV or going to a movie, this and that. And women, like I said, you give them an inch, they want to take a yard. It's like, spend time with me on the sofa, and also, hey, let's eat, and also let's fuck, and also let's do this and let's do that. Like, it's like, god damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making the effort to do this. You see what I'm saying? Take it for what it's worth. And women can do small minimum shit for me, and my shit ain't even that deep. It's like, leave me the fuck alone, shut the fuck up, give me some pussy, give me a threesome, and I'm cool. And they can't even do that bare minimum sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so concentrating on what they want, not the fuck ups or whatever it's in that. And you don't even want to get into other shit that they bring to the table of their fuck ups that has to be fixed by the man that I gotta suck up. So no, I don't owe you nothing. Not based on what I do. And I'm just speaking for me as a man and the shit that I do. I gotta deal with your fuck ups, your attitude, doing shit for you and all that type of shit. That shit come full circle. So when I say I don't want to do something, I want you to take it in good gracious that, damn, did he really not do nothing for me, or did he do something for me? That's what I'm talking about. The things that I do, I think, get overlooked sometimes, and you don't get credit for.
I don't know if that's on topic, but okay.
And it's
I'm just fucking
setting the tone. Setting the tone. That's what it's saying.
I think it's important, whether it goes good or bad, whether it's someone who is, we're talking with tolerance, or whether we're talking effort. I think that if you are setting the tone with how you want to be treated, whether that's perceived negative or positive, it's still good for you.
I don't know.
And that's the top of the hour for us guys. My name is Kana Lassiter. You can find me on IG and Twitter at Kana Lassiter.
Hey, welcome back for the new season. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go back. Hey, we need some type in, so go ahead and give us what you got, and then we're gonna come in for the next episode, and we're gonna see what we got going for you. But hey, you can find me on both platforms. That's Twitter and IG, 51 Spade. Hey, you're looking for the shirts? You can find us at Alpha Male God Creations on IG. Hit us up. Hey, tune in, subscribe to the channel, hit like, follow. Hey, donations, we'll take that at Alpha Male God. $sign them Cash App. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're back, baby. We're here for a new season, new year, new attitude. You know how we do it. I'm going to sign this out like I always always do.